Hey there everybody, it's the Heroic Legend here. I am back with another episode of Dark Souls, but this isn't a typical, I say that with air quotes, episode. This is an episode I'm doing dedicated to an idea I got from one of my friends. He recommended that maybe I do some theory crafting stuff, so that's what I'm here to do today. For this episode, I'm going to be using clips from one of the Lost episodes I had for my Let's Play, which is why it's going in the same list, just maybe under a different name, and I'll put it like maybe as a break between, you know, or maybe I'll just put it where it was supposed to be, like between episodes 10, air quotes, and 11. So basically what it is, basically, I took a look at the limited edition art book I got, and again, it's a pretty cool book. I tried to avoid looking at it to avoid spoilers. Same thing with the map. So I kept them, like, basically tucked away somewhere for a while. Then just one day I decided, let me take a look at this. And after looking at it, listening and watching a lot of, if you guys may know, Vadi Vidya, I think his name is. He's a really good Dark Souls 2, like, theory crafter and lore person. I haven't seen much of Epic Namebro, who I've also been told to check out. So I might check him out a bit and check out some of his stuff, but for the most part, I stick to Vadi. Now, some of my theories is, I will do two, this will be like a two-parter theory thing, where one is game theory, and then the other one is about the game theory, and it's going to be about the game. Now, when I take a look at the book, we open up the art book and we see the Chancellor and his weaponry, and that's something they like doing a lot. They like showing off the characters, you know, how they look on paper. You know, we have the first two pages don't really have, the first three pages don't really have much, but it's the fourth page behind the cat where we see a little girl. Now, this is my speculation on this, but I believe that this was supposed to be the Emerald Herald. And I believe that at some point in Dark Souls 2, we were supposed to go back in time. How far back? You know, however old the Emerald Herald is, we were probably going to go back to when she was first created and such. So, we see her here as a little girl, and that's where some of my confusion came to play. Like, we never see this. A lot of the enemies you'll see in here, they're featured in maybe one or two areas, or just in one area, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. You feature enemies and areas in the art book that are going to be prominent or going to play a big role. Like, we have some of the NPCs in here that you'll see often. One sec. Sorry. We see a lot of the merchants as well. People who have the guilds and such. And we even see a younger King Vendrick, which again leads me to the conclusion that at some point during development, I think they had plans for us to go back in time. Now, I can't speak for the developers or anything like that. I can't speak for From, but I really do believe we were supposed to go back in time, which is why they had art renditions of both Vendrick and the Emerald Herald younger. And of course, we see the Emerald Herald grown up in one of the later pictures. I'm going through the art book physically as I talk to you guys, but another thing that maybe kind of hints something, and this is just maybe me looking into this, and remember, this is all speculation and theory. My theories, of course. If you believe in them, cool. If you would like to maybe debate some of your own, feel free to drop a comment about it. But another thing that I noticed is around a character's neck, and I should probably put very heavy, like, spoiler warnings here, because I am just going to go in about some of the story stuff, but Nassandra, the final boss of the game, her human form has a necklace with, and I look closely at it, there seems to be a dark gem in it. Maybe that was a hint to her true nature. Maybe that thing was housing her true nature, and maybe it was even keeping it a secret from the Chosen Undead, aka you. But again, theories. Lordy. Sorry. I'll explain later what's happened. Anyway, now on the pages where we start looking at scenery, I noticed there was a huge cathedral-esque area with all these grand designs and interesting things to it. Sorry if you hear that in the background, by the way. That's I decided to do this while I was updating my Dark Souls 2. Yay. And the internet crapped out for a second, so gotta restart that download. Yippee! Anyway, the cathedral area here looks much more grand, and I have a feeling this is the original place of the Blue Sentinels. This is where they were going to be housed. You know, maybe this could have been a whole separate area or separate thing, and it was supposed to be there for like an entirely optional piece to truly get to the guild. You know, and I know what you're thinking, oh, am I really going to go through all that? Well, some people will. And I actually think if they had done this, and maybe the requirements to max out your rank in the Blue Sentinels would have been different. Maybe they just got strapped for time and they needed something there, so they put in such crazy requirements to max rank in both the Blue Sentinels and the Brothers of Blood. And I'll get into that in the game theory stuff, but now, if we look at the page after that, it has, and I'll probably be putting up a couple of like images as well, but if we look at the page after that, we see this forest area, this ruins, right? And from first glance, it does look like it would be something in the background, but it also appears like there's more that could have been done here. I think we see the chosen undead holding up a torch to examine the area. It's a grand-esque area, very scenic, very beautiful too. You know, and maybe it should have been put in there. Now, on the page after that, we have the type of page that we have to, you know, flip the book on its side. So, or we have to hold the book basically, however you want to say, and we see what I believe to be the gutter, or ideas for the gutter. Now, personally, if the gutter had been more like this ruined place filled with like just destroyed huts and possibly even worse platforming than it already has, but I'll get to that in the Let's Play later. It feels like it would have been something less tedious and annoying, because there would have been a lot more stuff to explore and do without the constant worry that if I fall, I'm going to fall into the abyss. I mean, what I see here, yeah, it does have if you fall, you will die. But it also has the if you fall, you will die, but you will see more of the area. Kind of like if you choose death by falling, it's at least, oh, I've discovered where maybe an enemy was, or maybe where a chest was, or, you know, whatever. But I also noticed that in the background of this picture, we have a bridge, and what was this bridge going to be to? Could this have been to the boss fight that's within the area? Was the Black Gulch just added in because the gutter was maybe considered too tough an area to get past? And a lot of this just looks like, it could have all connected better through shortcuts and stuff, and maybe we wouldn't have needed to have the teleport from the bonfire at the start. Now, the picture below it looks very reminiscent of Dark Souls 1, Gravelord Nero's domain, with the vines and the just ruins and decrepitness. It actually reminds me a lot of New Londo ruins, too. You know, could this have been one of the area, like the area where the Duke's dear Freya was? Could that boss fight have been entirely changed from the original development? I don't read a lot of the developer stuff. I choose not to. I choose to play the game more than I do theory crafting and lore stuff. But you best believe if I would have been checking out a lot of this stuff. Now, again, all my speculations come from the fact that it looks like this should have been a bigger game. And a boss fight with one of the enemies that you have, one of the bosses that are not optional. I will do a small segment probably in the next one about skippable bosses, but what I'm confused at is we see not 2 or 3 people, we see at least 6 people fighting one boss. Was this boss fight supposed to have people come and help you? I know that you can go help the boss if you activate the thing properly. It's a little bit of a cheap thing. I might show you guys in a random or something. But again, you were supposed to fight the. It looks like you were supposed to fight the Looking Glass Knight with more than just the 2 people you can get to help you. I don't know, maybe they were gonna incorporate something or add a bigger co-op thing to make it even harder. And I could only imagine that 6 people on one boss, those resistances are gonna be so high, you're gonna need full cooperation. You know. But again, all speculation and theory. Now, if you look to the page next to it, I'm gonna have if we look to the page next to it, we will see an area of, I believe I'm getting closer to it, but we will see the old Iron Keep. And in the old Iron Keep, we have a very specific area that you can see in the background near the boss fight. And it is a very interesting piece of the scenery, because from what I saw, it looked like this should have been more. There should have been more to this area than just what we went through. You know, and I know some people do criticize the game. You know, we have lava area, castle area, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. My point is, I believe that this area was going to be more, that the Iron Keep was going to be more expanded. It's going to be bigger, better, maybe tougher to get through, maybe a lot of hidden things we didn't know about. And then, of course, this area that I'm looking at on the next page, it has, this is Castle Drangleic, the inside, because I recognize the statues. Why is it outside? Why is it raining? Why does this portal thing look so strange? Was there a bigger part to the Looking Glass Night fight we were missing? Was the castle supposed to be in ruins? Or was this supposed to be another illusion like in Dark Souls 1 with Gwendolyn? Was Cassandra going to try to trick us that the castle was fine, even though years had passed? If you listen to some of the stuff, the Chancellor even questions, what has happened to our castle? What does he mean what has happened to our castle? Everything looks to be in fine, in peace, intact. There's still guards, granted undead. I think that the picture that accompanies it on the opposite page was supposed to be a part of a whole grander scheme of things, but I honestly can't tell. I am using the full episode, so I do only have 15 minutes for this, so I am kind of sorry, and if you're listening to this, it's about 12 minutes or so in. So I'm gonna try to get through the rest of my thoughts. Alright, let me just skip ahead a bit. Looking at stuff, looking at all the stuff. Okay. Alright, so with that last page ends my game theory stuff on the, well, about the game theory stuff on scenery. Now we have the enemies, and I told you earlier in this, a lot of these enemies look like they should have been more prominently featured. Granted, in the areas where they are located, for a couple of them, they are prominently featured. So I guess you can make the excuse that because the area is so big and has so many segments to it, and by segments I mean checkpoints via bonfires, so like I consider every bonfire as like a huge segment or something, otherwise, you know, the game would just have like whatever. Anyway, we see one enemy that is an NPC phantom, and I believe he shouldn't have been a phantom. I believe he might have actually been an NPC, or possibly one of the NPC phantoms that you can summon to your side. Maybe he would have had his own quest line. Maybe he could have gotten his armor and weaponry for completing it, like you would the others. But again, all speculation that should have been in the game. Here we have black mages, which I believe should have had more parts. And one enemy here is a New Game Plus enemy. Was this guy supposed to be more featured? Was he supposed to have his own segment to him? You know, it's all these questions that ran through my mind as I looked through this book. Like, was this supposed to be more featured? Was this supposed to have a bigger part? But we can't tell. And I know there are probably a lot of questions I haven't touched upon. Why did the mannequin mask change? Why are these enemies not here? Yada, yada, yada. My point is, these are all my theories and my speculation, and I would love to hear yours as well. Who knows? Maybe you even have some answers for me that I didn't even think of. But I think for the last thing I'll talk about, before I get into full in-game stuff, which is where this part should really be, I'm just going to say one last thing. The game that we have here is a fun game. At least for me it is. I enjoy it. I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy playing through it. I enjoy finding allies. I enjoy finding enemies. So, even if it was, even if it does feel unfinished, even if I did feel like there was supposed to be more to it, for the game I have, I'm happy. And I enjoy it thoroughly. My channel will feature this game. I will never straight up abandon this game. And it's fun. Now, I will get back to you guys in the next episode to explain my thoughts on the in-game stuff that we could be missing. But until then, see you guys next time, and because there's not much to watch, thanks for listening. Honestly. Again, I'll see you guys next time.